While the state BJP rallies behind its chief minister, the Congress has made another serious charge against Vasundhara Raje. It claims a quid pro quo in a MOU between her government and former IPL boss Lalit Modi for setting up a cancer hospital in Jaipur. The BJP top brass went into a series of huddles to strategize the next move. After a 2-hour-long late-night meeting on Friday between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP President Amit Shah, for now the decision is no sackings.
The Rajasthan Chief Minister may have battled for Lalit Modi in a British court by signing a witness statement in his support. But Vasundhara Raje was clearly not alone. After going through legal documents, India Today has found that at least 3 former Supreme Court judges, a former Mumbai Police Commissioner and a prominent editor have all supported the ex-IPL Commissioner at various stages. The support to Lalit Modi can be slotted in 2 clear buckets: legal support for his claim of residentship in UK and the endorsement for his claim in the battle in India to get his revoked passport reinstated. The 3 Supreme Court judges who provided legal opinion in Mr. Modi's favour, both for residentship and for his passport revocation, are Justice Jeevan Reddy, former chairperson of the Law Commission, Justice S.B. Sinha, who was a Supreme Court judge between 2002 and 2009, and late Justice U.C. Banerjee, who headed the Godhra Train Burning Inquiry Commission. Opinion papers accessed by India Today clearly show that Justice Jeevan Reddy and Justice S.B. Sinha supported Modi's plea to have his passport restored, while a third, Justice U.C. Banerjee, supported stay extension in Britain once his visa expired in March 2012. In his opinion, Sinha, for example, writes, "The Regional Passport Office ought not to have considered allegations of irregularities in IPL when Mr. Modi was chairman while impounding passport, since this is beyond the jurisdiction of the RPO or the Enforcement Directorate." Justice Reddy says in his opinion of October 2013, since Mr. Modi had made himself available for video conferencing, the Enforcement Directorate has no power to insist on the physical presence of Mr. Modi before them. Justice Banerjee was even more explicit when he wrote in February 2012, just ahead of Modi's case being heard in the UK courts. The fact is, there is no charge against him. The fact is, there is no conviction. Even the allegations against him do not appear to be serious, while adding, there appears to be a serious and credible threat to his life and security. The judges provided legal opinion. The witness list who actually appeared in court include the former Mumbai Police Commissioner R.D. Tyagi and senior journalist Prabhu Chawla. Other witnesses in the case include Meenal Modi, wife of Lalit Modi, K.K. Modi, his father, and R.K. Malhotra, chief executive of Modi Group company Indofil.
It is apparent that Lalit Modi had support which went well beyond Vasundhara Raje, and in the absence of any charge sheet, he was able to build a strong case both to stay on in Britain and to have his passport returned. And with the top judges backing his claims, clearly, he didn't just rely on Rajasthan Chief Minister for bailing him out. With camera person Satyendra Bhati, Akhtar Khan in Delhi for India Today.
Meanwhile, senior journalist Prabhu Chawla responded to the India Today exclusive. He claims his statement was not in favour of Modi's residency, but only about whether Lalit Modi was a victim of political vendetta or not.
As one of India's best-known journalists and editors, why would you, sir, put out and sign on a witness statement which helped Lalit Modi, who was absconding from Indian law, get rehabilitation in the United Kingdom, sir?
I think you have again got the facts wrong. I did not sign any statement which is called as a witness statement. I think you check your facts first. And the question is, in an age and time of journalism and politics, when journalists, editors, judges are not likely to behave like human beings, asking this question, I went there in my personal capacity, and what I said was appeared in most of the magazines here, including Rajiv himself talked about internal politics of BCCI in his previous channel. All of you also spoke of internal fight going on between various factions of BCCI. That is what I told the judges. Judges asking very specific question, do you think, is Mr. Lalit Modi victim of any cricket politics? My answer was yes, and I think your answer would also be yes, so would be Rajdeep Sardesai. My question was limited to that. Then the second question was, do you think it's a political vendetta? I said probably, because only one person has been asked to explain his conduct. Fair notices have been served to only one person, while all the IPL members who endorsed his decisions or who were party to the minutes which were circulated to all of them have not been served any kind of notice. Subsequently, they were all served after the parliamentary committee hearing. What I said was proved absolutely right. These are the two questions which were put to me by the Honourable Court, and you think if the British courts are biased and can be influenced, I think we have to think ourselves whether we are doing correct journalism or not.
So, Prabhu, you're saying that you were there as an expert. Effectively, what you're saying, you were providing an expert view, or were you there as a friend of Lalit Modi? Let's get this clear. Because Vasundhara Raje signed her affidavit as a witness, almost as a friend of, why almost? As a friend of Lalit Modi. Did you also go there as a friend of Lalit Modi?
Rajdeep, you have been meeting Lalit Modi as much as I have been meeting him. You have been covering cricket much more because you belong to a family of cricketers. So I have been meeting him as the only cricket administrator. India Today did a big cover story, not only once, twice, that he created some kind of $1 billion enterprise. He was one of the most successful cricket administrators India ever had. And we are all praising him, including you and I at that point in time. Whatever crime is committed or not committed, I'm not sitting on judgment. Because I told you in the beginning that all of us are not expected to behave like human beings or friends.
Did you go as a friend,
We
sir?
have to decide now.
So you're saying you went as an expert?
I went as a journalist. Okay. I went as a journalist, which I knew about. I went purely as a journalist, nothing else, and in my personal capacity.
Mr. Chawla, did it not seem morally wrong to try and put out a statement which will ultimately help Lalit Modi get rehabilitation in the United Kingdom? You're saying you didn't sign on the witness statement, but your testimony did help Lalit Modi, who at that time was absconding from Indian law.
It means you are telling me not to speak the truth. What do you mean? You will decide what should I say, or anybody else will decide on my behalf. If court asks me the question, I'm under oath that I will speak the truth and nothing else. It is for the court to decide whether they want to believe my testimony or not. They thought I was much more credible. Therefore, they are saying in their judgment, credible witnesses. I was not a witness anyway. But the question is, when they trust my what I do, you think you will decide or I will decide whether Rahul Kawal will appear or not appear for somebody. Some criminal justice. There are two sides of every case. So was in the case of Lalit Modi.
So
and the question which I am asking you, didn't you talk about cricket politics when Lalit Modi was sent out of this country? Did you not have debates on your channel?
Sir, you know...
I said the same thing what you are debating.
So you know Lalit Modi probably better than most. You've put out a tweet saying, wait, picture to abhi baki hai, ye to sirf teaser hai. What are you hinting at, and what do you make of this entire drama that's been playing itself out in primetime television?
I'm just telling you, you must ask this question to Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai. He also got some names which he has not disclosed now because he may not have been able to prove themselves. And he may be holding back because he is looking for some evidence. And I know he is aware of certain names which he told me on the phone, which I don't want to discuss because both of us have discussed certain names. So therefore, picture is abhi baki hai? Yes, it is baki. So Rajdeep also knows, and you also know, you may not be knowing, Rajdeep has met the person concerned, and he knows some of the names which he told me, and I discussed with it, but both of us are not sure whether they were there or not, they have deposed or given a witness, therefore we can't put out their names, we can't be in the speculative regime.
You know, I think what's becoming clear, Rahul, is that as we've seen, Lalit Modi every day, and it usually is around this time that he begins tweeting, you know, I call it now his power play. Just as the rest of the country is about to go to sleep, he comes up with power play without a strategic timeout. Yesterday night, it was about Robert Vadra and Priyanka Vadra and how he met them at the restaurant. And that innocuous statement or innocuous tweet, as I saw it, was picked up the rest of the day.
The BJP jumped on it.
The BJP jumped on it, had the Gandhis met Lalit Modi. Look, Lalit Modi at the moment is almost like a Scarlet Pimpernel. You see him here, you see him there, you see him everywhere, and at the same time, you're not sure what he's all about. So I think the way it's playing out, every day as new names come, as Lalit Modi throws new names, as there is name calling and name dropping, it's becoming almost intriguing to see how the political parties are reacting. It's almost as if Lalit Modi, sitting in London, is setting the agenda for the political parties here. I haven't seen the Congress party do as many press conferences as they've done in the last week, and every time they do a press conference, the BJP reacts. And the fact is, at the end of the day, Where is the charge sheet against Lalit Modi? You know, that is the critical thing.
Absolutely,
I haven't seen
absolutely.
I am waiting to see the charge sheet against Lalit Modi. Suddenly we are told the Enforcement Directorate, Rahul, is going to go for him, is going to slap a 1700 crore notice. I'm asking, why didn't this happen in the last 5 years? So I think the way in which this is playing out, there is too much of, it's almost reactive politics. So I think Prabhu is right in that sense. Picture abhi baki hai.
But Prabhu, do you find it strange that only Lalit Modi is being targeted, because all the cases are Lalit Modi and the BCCI, and people in the governing council, people in the executive committee, people on the finance committee, are they not equally responsible for what happened? How do you see this picture end, Prabhu?
Rahul, as you rightly pointed out, the question is being singled out. As you know, notices have been served to other IPL members as well, except one. And why it was not served on one, that is a different question. We can't discuss that. And that person is sitting on education now. All the members have received notices from ED to explain their conduct, including the former president of the BCCI. I don't want to get into name dropping. Lalit is a master of marketing. He is doing it. But when other IPL members have been given the same notice, why are we not naming them and talking about them? Why their passports have not been impounded? Tell me one other economic offender whose passport has been impounded during the last 5 years, either by the previous government or by this government. As Ajit rightly pointed out, we should debate the criminality part of it. We should not discuss who has been witness, why he has been witness, whether it is good or bad. Can't we behave like human beings? Let us discuss the merit of the case. If Lalit has done something criminal, he should be hanged. He should be brought back to justice.
No, but then
if others have done it, they should also be discussed on the table.
You know, but the criminality is not just the BCCI.
Why others are being spared?
The criminality, Prabhu, is not just the BCCI. The allegations of criminality, particularly the one, Rahul, that the Congress is making today, is about hotel deals. It's about a financial relationship with Vasundhara Raje, about sweetheart deals that he struck. I think
Rajiv,
that's where the focus.
No, you are going on you are going on the, I am confined to myself to the Lalit Modi angle vis-a-vis what he,
No, I take your point.
I am not getting to Vasundhara Raje and what.
No,
so what I am saying
but
is, if other members of the IPL have been
politically at the moment it's going to be about Vasundhara Raje.
No. Rajiv, why passports of other people who have been served notice are not being impounded?
That's
they
a good question.
That's an important point. Which Lalit has got.
Because the BCCI claims that the entire deal which resulted in this $80 million facilitation fee between WSG and MSM, so the BCCI claims, was done by Lalit Modi. So the entire BCCI...
No, but Lalit Modi in his defense, Rajdeep says, and you've read that defense as well, that I wasn't the signatory, I wasn't the signing authority on the checks.
True.
People like M.K. Pandau, people like N. Srinivasan signed on those checks. They're as responsible.
Rahul, if this is taken to its logical conclusion...
There are minutes. Let me say.
Yes, Prabhu.
Rahul, he has circulated the minutes of the decision which have gone to all the members of the IPL. Name them, all the MPL. Emails are there on the website. Who are the members who are marked this discussion, and he was taken away the powers of signing the document. He has been asked to explain his conduct in South Africa, for which he was never allowed to sign any evidence.
You know, Prabhu, my only limited point, a lot of this has come before the Standing Committee of Finance in 2010-11. Yashwant Sinha was heading that committee. Absolutely. We are now in 2015. I want to know in the last 4 years what action has been taken by the Enforcement Directorate, what action by the Income Tax in the context of that Standing Committee on Finance report. This is the problem. At the moment we are looking for someone whom we can hang. I am saying if you have to hang all of them and make sure that there is a clear break with the past.
I'm going to end it over there. Prabhu Chawla and Rajdeep Sardesai for joining us.
It was a collective...
yes, Prabhu, final words, quickly.
Now let me complete a sentence. It was like the cabinet has a collective responsibility, IPL had also the collective responsibility. All of them responsible for whatever irregularities, if at all they have been committed, all should be hanged and brought to books.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Both Prabhu and Rajdeep make an important point. Yes, of course, Lalit Modi was at the apex of the decision-making authority at that time, but he wasn't signing on the checks. There were people who were signing on those checks. There are people who are equally responsible for the decisions that were taken.